Thank you, Ren. Thank you, Creative Mornings. And of course, thank you for being here this early this morning, on a Friday morning, of course. I'm not exactly the most morning person. Could barely pull myself awake, I guess. Okay, as everybody know, I run the bookstore, I run the publishing arm, and so on and so forth. So I must be a book person, and I'm going to talk about books or publishing to begin with, right? But the theme is heritage, and I thought, why not showcase a part of me, a part of the bookstore that I don't talk about enough often, but you will definitely see it in the bookstore if you go to a bookstore. Let's see. There you go. I'll need to do a bit of explanation. The art of Karang-guni. Karang-guni is a Malay word that describes the rag and bone man. In Singapore, they are our old school recycling people. Before recycling was cool, they were originally recyclers, Karang-guni men, and there's an art to it. And technically, I myself, I am the fresh batch of Karang-guni men. It seems odd because when we were growing up in the 80s, 70s, 90s, in HDB blocks, you would see the Karang-guni men walking along the common corridors, and then they'll be shouting their Karang-guni advertisement, which was in dialect. They would usually go, they will have this horn that they'll go beep it, paw paw, and then they'll say, Karang-guni, kupo chua, lelio, tensiki, and then they'll just shout the same thing, they'll shout at her, and they are good at projecting it, they could be at your car park where the public car park is, and then you'll shout the same thing, and then you'll come down, sell them your newspaper, sell them your old TV or old radio, for a couple dollars, then they'll bring it back to the recyclers, or they'll try to repair it. For the smarter ones, they just store it in a warehouse, then 10 years down the road, decide to read as vintage. There are true stories of Karang-gunis in Singapore that being a Karang-guni, that means collecting newspapers, from all of us, right? Owns landed property, put kids to university, 10 times more than a millionaire. Karang-guni is a profession not to be looked down upon. And I call it KG for short because it's a mouthful. When I do it with my colleagues, I actually see it as I'm a bookseller and a Karang-guni man at the same time. My way of doing it is slightly different. I don't go to your house nearby to shout, do you have old newspapers to sell to me, that kind of thing. I do it a little bit differently. If you know Singapore, we are always pulling down buildings, HDB blocks will get en bloc, then you're asked to move. Even when I was a kid, I was asked to move twice, or my parents were asked to move twice because the block was going to be torn down, and they will relocate you to another new block. Next few years, somewhere near us, Rochor Center is going to get torn down, and the families will be relocated. And to me, as a Karang-guni person, that is a gold mine, man. When the people start moving out, they are going to trash a lot of things, and when they trash things, they don't always trash it into dustbin, When they're moving, when they are desperate, if you have moved before and they're desperate and you're moving on that day, then you have things that you want to throw, you just most likely throw it, at the common stairway, at the common corridor, or you just leave things behind, and that's where I come in, You throw it at the stairway, you throw it at the common corridor, you leave it behind, the door is open, I know you have moved out already, I'm the one going in to dig for stuff, and you'll be amazed by the things that people leave behind. They leave behind photo albums, black and white photo albums, black and white photographs, and you're thinking, isn't this memories? Wedding photos they leave behind. That I'm pretty sure they are still married and left behind. But most of it, they might digitalize it, so it's like, okay, it's analog, so what's the point, right? They leave behind the strangest things, and I pick up the strangest things. I sell the strangest things too sometimes. I'm amazed by the things that we sell sometimes, not the books, the non-book stuff. So that's the art of Garanguni. What is heritage to me? I'll be a good student by talking on the theme of heritage. Heritage to me it's a form of memory, for sure, right? All of us have a collective memory. Whether you are from this country, you're living in this country, you're working in this country, all have some sort of collective memory. Even now, this morning here, you hearing me talk, assuming I give a good talk and you guys remember it, it is our collective memory. It's also, for me, heritage is also a form of our roots. I think for fellow Singaporeans, we conveniently and easily forget that we actually have a very short history. This year, it's 49 years. If we were to take independence from 64 onwards, we are 49 years. We only have 49 years worth of roots in this country. I'm 36 this year, and I do not have a long history to look back. Or at least that's when I was growing up. History books taught me that Singapore came into being from 1964 onwards. And of course, I only lived it from 1978 onwards, the year I was born. And by looking at all these black and white photographs, by holding on to, say, an old F&N glass, that's way older than me, I'm holding on to some form of collective memory, a root in that sense. There's one root that had so-called been familiar to my dad and my mom, and now I see I'm holding on to a sort of their memory, and it sort of brings me closer, I hope, to this country where I was born. So that is heritage to me. It allows me to dig deeper in the stories, their stories, my grandparents' stories, our fellow friends, their parents and their grandparents, their stories. This is dangerous. Next slide. Collecting goals. This one also has to do with Garanguni. I will go back to the Garanguni thing. I'm a bit I like horror movies, so goals to me it's always a nice word. 7 months is coming. Hungry Ghost Festival is coming, so I thought I might as well use the word goals while doing a slide last night. The subtitle, of course, I didn't enjoy school. I enjoyed the part where I didn't have to study. I didn't enjoy the studying part. I collect the strangest things. And of course, I also come across, like I said, I come across the strangest things while doing Garanguni. And this is one of the things that I came across. Later, you guys can come forward to take a better look at it. It's heavy. I was doing my Garanguni. It's actually not too far away from here. It's actually been very near the bookstore. It was at Zion Road. And this was most probably 2 years ago. Now, the whole piece of land is flattened already where Zion Road is. There were 6 blocks of flats, I think. And I'll go there pretty often for entire year. And what I'll do is that if the block there's one block that's 18-story or 19-story tall, I would take the lift, go all the way up, and through blue Garanguni, right, you would go floor by floor. I'll put it down here, so it's heavy. So a true professional Garanguni, you will go to the top floor, you'll take the lift, then after that you'll go down stairway by stairway. You would just hit level at level because you just want to see what people have thrown away. And I came to this particular stairway, there's a lot of junk there, there were cockroaches, sometimes certain places smell of pee for some very bad reason. I saw this metal piece there. It was dirty. I couldn't really see it properly, but I did pick it up to just see what it was, right? And I had the biggest shock of my life. It's at Film Melayu Limited, which, if I were to translate, Malay Films Limited in that sense, and it says incorporated in Singapore, registered office, and this belonged to the filmmaking industry in Singapore. You know, I really can't think for the life of it, why would anyone throw it away? Okay, maybe the person might not be around anymore, but what about his sons or his daughters or grandson or granddaughter? Why would you want to throw this away? This is our heritage, our root to Singapore had a vibrant, fantastic filmmaking scene. Correct me if I'm wrong, 60s, 70s, Shaw Brothers, Cathay. You know, we were the so-called the film capital in this part of the world. We were producing films and it's being exported. You know, we had stars, movie stars here and there. And this was being thrown away. And I said, I'm going to pick it up. Even if it's covered in shit, I'm going to pick it up. You know, I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to wash it. I'm never going to sell it. Someone has tried to buy it off my hands. Was it you, Paul? No, right? No, right? No, right? So this is me collecting ghosts in that sense. And there's one more ghost that I collected. It was actually from another collector. He just wanted to get rid of it. It's actually 3 very ordinary metal tin flasks, which most probably has ghosts, real ghosts inside, I think. It looks very ordinary, and but they're actually World War II metal flasks that belongs to Japanese soldiers. Underneath the tin itself, you have the metal stamp of their kanji names that's being stamped there. And when we are working at a bookstore, when we're shifting, because the metal tin came to me when we were at Club Street. So we had to make a move from Club Street to Tiong Bahru. And I would joke with my colleagues and say, please do not drop the tin. Do not drop the tin on the floor. You know, you do not want the Japanese soldier, the dead Japanese soldier, to, you know, cause disrespect to the Japanese tin. So, yeah, I do have the strangest things that we have at the bookstore. Next slide. Our goals are creative. Okay, this is where majority of my talk is going to be. The part about collecting bricks, I'm not joking, I do collect bricks. I collect old bricks, of course. I don't just collect, you know, I have quality standards. It must be old bricks. You know, I'm not going to just pick up any brick that's on the floor, right? It's a very heavy hobby, as you can tell. Bricks are really heavy. While collecting, it seems very awesome. You bring it home, it seems awesome, but the act of doing it and when lugging it, it's like, what the fuck? You know, it was also during the time of me doing all this garanguni that I realized that, hey, you know, all these bricks that I'm growing up with when I was a kid, 4 or 5 years old, you will see people, your neighbors along the common corridors, they will use the bricks to prop up their potted plants and so on and so forth. And you go home now, you will still see it. You know, I'm sure you can take them, they wouldn't notice. And you realize the bricks, right, would have names on it. It's the brickworks itself, the manufacturer's name. You know, there were names like Bin Kiao, Gobi. There are names like Nanyang, there was Jurong, PUB, and I thought, wow, interesting. You know, we are a country that is that's always talking about nation building. You know, and our country is very urban, very concrete, and the things that house us, that shelter us, is actually all these bricks. You know, certain areas in Singapore are built by different bricks. Say when they tore down the old National Library. Those are made by, I think, Alexandra bricks. I think they saved 2,000 of it in display at the current NLB, I think. And say Tiong Bahru is also built by Alexandra bricks, so the contractor brought from this company called Alexandra, and then all the bricks are there. And I thought, yeah, this is our heritage. It's just invisible. It's like a ghost. You can't see it. You know, we stay in it 4 walls, but these are our heritage. You know, it houses us, it built us, blah, blah, blah. But of course, who built them, you know? And of course, like HDB, you know, HDB has a hand in building the bricks. They were brickworks themselves also. Immediately after independence, after 64, one of the most pressing needs, of course, besides LKY having to try to drink less, smoke less for better health. He had to house a nation. So HDB was set up because Singapore Improvement Trust back then they weren't doing a fantastic job of housing people. And HDB stepped in, and HDB had to, house people. And to house people back then, you really build it brick by brick. Unlike now, it's like much like Transformers, it's prefab. I'm so amazed how blocks come up. I was like, what the? You took 2 years to build this 40-story building? You're kidding, But back then it was really brick by bricks, And HDB, when they first had a brickworks, it was actually at Red Hill. My sources are all good because I interviewed Mr. Liu Taiker himself, Mr. HDB. It was at Red Hill, and as the name Red Hills is supposed to connote, there was supposed to be a hill. HDB sort of leveled. They dug all the clay. To make the bricks, they need clay. So they sort of, Red Hill, they took most of Red Hill. And even Red Hill wasn't enough. Later on, they had to shift to Bukit Batok. And that was also their last location for the brickworks. The uptake for the bricks was so high that they had to, HDB or Mr. Liu and his team, devise a way to, Singapore always trying to be number one, we got to be number one at this, I got to be better than everybody else, in the region, if you build an airplane, I got to build an airplane that's times 10 bigger than yours. It's not times 2, it got to be times 10, right? So I think that mentality has been there since a long time when the country was started. HDB had the same mentality too, because during the interview, he was very, very enthusiastic that they had the #1 bricks in the world, #1. But you're thinking, bricks are bricks, right? How #1 can you have bricks? It's rectangle and heavy, and that's about it, right? And he said, no, my bricks is called A1 phasing bricks. I was like, what the? Yes, they had to use the word A1 phasing bricks, or modular bricks as they call it. But apparently it was a really, really good brick because they had studies done of other bricks in the world, and studies are very simple. They literally got a bricklayer, same one, right, on different days to do studies. So maybe using this brick from Malaysia, using this brick from Indonesia, and using the A1 phasing brick, they'll build a particular wall, and then they'll time the person, and they'll figure out how many bricks are used. They will use the same method. The A1 phasing brick won in every single thing every single study it did. So the modular brick was the best brick ever. But what was better, you got to make the brick, right? You got to make the brick itself. It's a bit like baking a cake. It's almost the same, right? For those who have done clay pottery, it's fairly simple. You do your pot, whatever it looks like. Then you put it into the kiln, then you fire it, then you bring it out of the kiln, right? So that's a simple process. And that's more or less how they make bricks. Just think of it, maybe super large kiln, That's how it's done. But HDB being HDB and say that, no man, we can't do it this way. This is so inefficient. Wet bricks, put in the oven, and after that bake it, and bring it out. It's too inefficient. They came up with this fantastic method, and that I was impressed. This method that they came up, I was truly, truly impressed. They call it the tunnel kiln. So you just think of it as a train tunnel. It runs on track. So the fresh bricks, the wet bricks, will be loaded up on this platform on the tunnel, and then you'll be towed inside this tunnel on a chain. And as it reaches further in, the temperature goes up. It reaches the middle. It's the optimum temperature where the brick is baked. Then as it goes out, the temperature drops. By the time it reaches the end of the tunnel, it's loaded up on the lorry and on straight to the construction site. I thought that was fucking amazing. Why, you bake bricks, people bake bricks, you do tunnel. I mean, that's amazing, come on. Oh, how is that possible? That's amazing. So I thought, wow, you guys really, but of course, later on, everything was outsourced, so the brickworks was closed, there was pollution problems, blah, blah, blah. So, end of story for bricks. Okay, I got one more brick anecdote to share, and that's personal. I collect bricks, right? So of course, when I collect bricks, some of them are mostly dirty. I will need to bring it back to the bookstore. I'll wash it, then I'll put it outside the bookstore to dry it. And nobody will take these bricks. Nobody want to take the bricks. Nobody. You can put it there for 10 years. Nobody want to take it. you know. But one day, an uncle came in, 50-ish, I think. He came in, he came in the counter and he approached one of my colleagues and said, "Is the brick outside for sale? You know, I'm willing to pay for it." Then, as usual, I'm also behind the counter, but my desktop is always facing at the other side. So when you come to the bookstore, you'll be looking at my back. Then in my mind, I was like, "Ching-ching!" You know, what the hell? Someone will buy a brick, you know? I was like, oh my gosh, this is jackpot, man. It's like, it's jackpot. You pick up something free and you sell it to somebody. It's like, you know. It happens quite frequently at a bookstore, I think. And I turned around and said, no, they are not for sale, because I was still in the phase of collecting them, right? So I said, not for sale. And I said, sell it to me, name your price. I said, why do you want to buy it? They said, oh, my dad had worked in that particular brickworks, that name there, you know, that's reflected on the brick. And I said, take it then, you know, take it, bring it home. You know, it means more to you than it means to me, you know, and that was worth it. That was worth it. You know, that afternoon of lugging back that brick was worth it. My final slide, I think, it is my final slide, right? I'm pretty sure. Ghost World, yes. Ghost World, it's the name of a comic. Daniel Close, I think. I have not read it yet, sadly. I should, right? Future, you and I shall be ghosts. Our ghosts are our roots. They are, you know. I hope that, I'm not asking you to be Garang. I am a bookseller by profession, by every day, you know, but I'm always on the lookout for things. You know, if I'm walking down the street, you know, I see someone throw a metal plate. And I'm like, what metal plate is that? You know, sometimes I see, okay, you know how you have traffic signages all around Singapore, right? And sometimes you have a two-way sign, you have a stop sign. You know, innocently, sometimes this kind of signs actually drop on the floor, right? I have two, but I'm not going to tell you which one I have. I have two. It dropped on the floor, so it's okay. It's government property. There's nobody that works here that does all the signages here. I have two. I'm always on the lookout, you know, to collect, to hoard. Okay, maybe there's something. Obviously, there's something wrong here. The hoarding mentality. But it's us looking out, looking at things around us, you know, what is worth keeping. I'm not asking you to hoard every single thing, but the things that we keep are our connection to the future generation and the generation before us. You know, when you buy, or even if you were to keep, okay, simple thing, books actually shifted 4 times, which means I have 4 name cards, 4 different addresses, you know. Assuming, I'm very sure we'll shift the 5th time, and hopefully this is the final location, right? Final location. And I'm going to put it on record now. You know, 10 years down the road, you know, which means we have been around for 19, 20 years. If you come to us with all 5 name cards, I'm going to give you a free book hamper or something like that. You know, that's the value of collecting, the value of hoarding. You know, you show me that you have that 5 name cards or 5 different locations, I will give you something special. You know, because even I don't have it, you know, even I don't have it, it's so sad. You know, but yeah, I mean, I do hope that everybody can be a little bit of a ghost, you know, a little bit of hoarder. Every single thing that we keep away, it's a bridge, a link to the past and to the future, something that we can pass on to our kids, hopefully. It's the same thing with this, where I'll talk a little bit about books. It's the same thing with the publishing that we're doing. It's documentation. No matter what kind of books that I put out, they might be controversial. There's going to be a very, very controversial title coming out soon enough. I'm going to get a lot of shit for it. But he's a playwright, you know, and I think that no matter how controversial it is, as long as it doesn't incite violence, okay, it might, okay, it might, yeah, it might. It should be put in documentation. You know, that is what, and not just the literary words, but the arts, the music, all should be put. The film, all should be put in a documentation so that with access to it, we can go back and see what people were like back then. And I'm sure people back then are like us. So yeah, that's it. That's the end of my talk. Questions, right? Questions?
Thank you, James. We have some You will never get a great
Okay.
So now's my favorite part, which is the Q&A. I'll just ask that if you have a question, please wait for the mic to pass to you, because as you know, all CreativeMornings videos are uploaded to the website, so we need to record those. So questions?
You can ask me anything. It doesn't need to be Karang-Guni. You can ask me about books. You can ask me about the cats at the bookstore. Do I love dogs? Since I have 3 cats, I have 3 cats.
What's your view at the moment on book ban, on library books, and the place of, censorship in the books?
This week has been fairly depressing, and of course there was one more very, very much more depressing that came out, news that came out after midnight, I think. Sadly, there was an airplane crash last night from Malaysian Airlines. Our thoughts are with the families, obviously. Okay, book ban, let's see. I'm not going to be nice about it. Okay, and I will state my position quite from the basic and the core. I'm a Christian. Okay, they can't seem to be able to differentiate the lines. They like to blur the lines. Then let my answer be blurring the lines at the same time too. I'm a Christian since I was 5 or 6. Taoism, when I was a little kid, I remember going to temple and doing all that praying thing that parents make you to do when are that young. But at 5 or 6, they decided to convert, and Christian. My denomination is Bible Presbyterian. For those who are familiar, Bible Presbyterians are fanatics, man. Crazy, man. You live and die by the Bible, man. You take the Bible and you don't just read the Bible, you slap people with the Bible, just knock them to their senses, okay? Is that crazy? And I am still a staunch Christian in a sense where, okay, you all know what staunch Christian means, really, right? But that is not going to stop me from publishing controversial books. That's not going to make me agree with what NLB did. At the end of the day, to me, the issue is about good parenting. My mom, when I was growing up, I came from a low-income family. My dad was a taxi driver. My mom was a housewife. So almost every weekend, she would just throw me at the library, because that was the only way to keep me out of trouble, to give her some spare time, free time. I'm out of hair for a while. She's able to sit down and not do anything while the kid goes terrorize the librarians, right? I read all sorts of books. I grew up with all sorts of books. And I think I turned out pretty decent. I mean, my language can be quite foul sometimes, but that's the thing. The library is supposed to not help you censor. It's supposed to provide everything there. The people who is supposed to censor is you, the adult. You have a child, you have a responsibility to let your child decide what to read, and not what. You cannot, okay, it's the same issue. If your kid do badly in exam, are you going to blame the teacher? Unless, of course, the teacher is so crappy that every single student blames the teacher and the parent blames. But you will not blame the teacher by saying that my kid didn't do well in exam, it's the teacher's fault. Okay, this generation maybe. I know it was previous, including my generation. Come on, I'm 36. If I didn't do well in school, my mom would just, she would just, what the hell are you doing in school? Failing your math all the time. I wish I did fail my math all the time. I blame the teacher, but my mom refused to believe it, which I think she was quite right. It wasn't the teacher's fault, it was my fault. I got no affinity for math, So in this case, it is to me a parenting issue. The kids should be allowed. You want a kid to read what they want to read, you decide. You, the parent, decide. Not a teacher, not another adult, not the government, not a statutory board to decide for you, not a corporate company, and not even BooksActually. I can sell the books I want to sell. You can step into the bookstore to buy any book that you want to buy. For example, okay, see here. For us, I don't sell vampire fiction. other than Dracula. I have Bram Stoker Dracula, but that's it. No more vampire fiction. You know, and if you're a person that loves vampire fiction, you come, what the hell is books actually doing? There's no vampire fiction. That's because I decided not to, right? But, you know, I'm an institution, I'm a corporate company, I decided, but you as a parent or you as a reader, then you realize that, hey, you know, I shouldn't be restricted. I'll go to somewhere else to buy it. I'll go to Kinokuniya that sells a lot of vampire fiction, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it shouldn't be decided. In a sense, I decide in my own preference that I decide not to sell it, but I didn't decide for you. I only decide because I don't want to sell vampire fiction. I don't want to sell, I mean, it's just not my favorite genre lah, in that sense. My favorite genre is, yeah, it's weirder lah, but yeah. So my decision was based on my own preference. You know, I shouldn't be deciding for all of you. You know, I decided not to stock it up because I just don't happen to like it a lot. I like to watch it on the movies. You know, I love Underworld. Yes. Kate Beckinsale is in there, yeah. But I will not decide for you, and neither should NLB.
Hi, this might be a weird one, but do you look at all heritage and all memories in an unbiased way, or do you have a moral guideline sort of to say, are there things that you would not collect?
Okay, see, right? Good question. Like I said, I'm a hoarder. I'm a hoarder. If you go to the bookstore now, let me share something really capitalistic and embarrassing, I guess. I collect pebbles also, okay? I mean, nice looking pebble on the floor, nice, you know. Just take it lah, it's free and it's nice, it's gonna make me feel good, right? I mean, I take it, it's nice, I put it on my day, wow, it's nice, then touch it, wow, it's nice, and it's gonna make my day, you know. If someone irritated me on Facebook, I'm gonna touch the pebble, oh, nice, you know. It's gonna make me feel better, right? Anything to make you feel better, right? And I don't even need to spend a single cent on it, right? So I do have a collection of stones, pebbles. I really have the weirdest things again. And there's one day, I think I was just living around the bookstore, and it was in a drawer container, and I just left it to the back of the bookstore. And then a customer just came by and said, stones, are they for sale? And I said, yeah, 50 cents each. Then he went back to the back of the store, and I was like, oh fuck, I shouldn't have said that. You know, I'm totally going to get like screwed or like Twitter on customers, books actually selling you stones, what the fuck? I'm like, oh shit, I shouldn't do that, right? I shouldn't do that. I mean, who sells stones, right? I'm like, I'm not a landscaping company. I mean, I'm like, what the? And like, then after he came out with 16 stones. I earned $8. Was it $8? Yeah, I earned $8, right? I was like, wow, decent $8. So yeah, to answer your question, there's no biasness when it comes to collecting. I'm sorry, I collect the strangest things. Like, I'm sorry, even like my colleagues. My partner she doesn't feel so weirded out by it. I have 3 cats, so sometimes their whiskers drop. I have a small little bottle of their whiskers. I collect their whiskers. This is so precious, right? I mean, I don't pluck it out. I just, they just happen to drop. Then I pick it up on my table on my lap. I say, oh, your whiskers drop. I'm going to collect it now, yeah. So that happens sometimes.
Before we move to the last question.
There's one more, I think, at the back.
I think your cat has a Twitter account, right?
All 3 of them, yeah. All 3 of them.
Obviously, you can follow them there. What's the question?
Yeah, I think heritage is very important in Singapore, and when you mention heritage, yeah, how do you think is the best way to get the younger generation interested in heritage outside of...
Yeah, go ahead.
outside of commercialization of heritage, which more or less translates to piecemeal patriotism via the convenience for, like, you know, Singapore 50 or like, what's the best way outside of that to encourage people to get more interested into delving deeper into our heritage? Considering that our heritage is not that hard to really look back into, considering we only have about less than 50 years.
Less than 50 years. I agree. I think we actually have one of the easiest jobs. I mean, if now you will say, I mean, if you're in the US, and you want to look back for heritage, say from Civil War, it's so long ago. I mean, it's more than 100 years, right? I'm pretty right. Yeah, it's more than 100 years. And it'd be so hard to dig further, right? Or whatever has been archived, set aside, has always been discovered. But Singapore has so little years in between, which means it's actually easier to dig through, if you want to take, again, from 64 onwards. It has to be organic. There must be no discrimination when your friends tell you that he or she wants to collect the cat whiskers. It has to be organic. I always believe in self-initiated interest. It could go on for longevity. It could be a short-term thing. You might be collecting the thing for 3 months, and then after that you go on to the next new thing, blah, blah, blah. But the stat boards, the government, they have a role to play. Say SG50 is coming up. So you see like SG50 initiative, and us, like for us, maybe we are a little bit different. When I decided to do this brick thing, and it was all born up because of collecting the bricks, and they are now taking up space, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, let's find inroad to go and interview Mr. Liu, while he's still around. He's quite aged. So he's still around, so I decided, let's quickly go interview him, and of course, if I think I should be able to do it, I intend to do a book out of it, of this story of the bricks, right? And I'll get out next year, and but it has nothing to do with SG50, it's just my own personal interest. I might make bricks, souvenir bricks to sell though, so there's a commercial part of it. But it has to be organic. Not just government initiated, not just some campaign that was pushed out to celebrate this, celebrate that. Like I said, all of us are capable of being heritage archivists, collectors, makers, in a sense. But it's just depends on us digging deeper the stories that's most accessible. Our parents, majority of us would have definitely parents still around. In my case, mine are no longer around, so it's a bit tricky for me. My uncles and aunties are not decent sources for stories, I realize that. Our parents, the people around us, the adults around us, we are all adults, but I'm sure there's more adults above us. They are instant access to our heritage. And it really depends on ourselves to go dig for it. And I'm not talking about family tree, you got to do a family tree, so don't make it feel like school, don't make it feel like assignment, don't make it feel like it's project. Just do that particular thing that you want to research the most, that is your most favorite thing to research, and start from there. Then do it for yourself, put it on Tumblr, on Facebook, on, Twitter, blah, blah, blah. And you see all these pieces coming together. But it's all very small little pieces, all very bite-sized. You collect cat whiskers, I collect dog whiskers. Dog has whiskers, yes, dogs has whiskers, right? I collect shell sheddings from my terrapin. There's one time I did collect shell sheddings from my terrapin. It was so nice, the pattern on it. And all this add up to the little pieces, right? And then one day we come together, you collect cat whiskers, dog whiskers, I collect terrapin, sheddings. And we come together and we talk about the things that we collect from animals, a bit morbid, but it is a form of collective, a form of collective memory, our own personal memory, but it adds up. And it suddenly opens up conversations between individuals. And then conversation opens up, you might talk about other things, and of course, you will definitely talk about very, very different things, but hopefully there's a history part to it, the past element to it. You might share about, oh man, I love that movie that I watched when I was 10 years old, and to me that's heritage, I get excited every year whenever I hear that. Anybody remember this movie called The Goonies? Right? I get excited every time when they say that you're going to do a Goonie Part 2. It's like, what the fuck, that's awesome, right? But I don't think they will, but that is a heritage to me because that's my collective memory together with you at the same time. You and I can talk about Goonies, which is our favorite character. Chuck, okay, yeah, never mind, aside. But okay, yes.
All right, we are going to have to wrap this up, so Thank you, Kenny.